In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
Hey! It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? 2? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, roll your ass!
Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the Wrestling Booking Unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet with that thing floating above its head right now. That. We'll talk more about that later, but I am your host, Detective Mark Smarks, and I am joined, as always, by my partners in crime fighting. Starting off, District Attorney Vincent Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
He's 80 years old. There's no reason.
Hey, buddy, we're live, buddy. We're live, pal.
No, this can't be. What? Oh, hold on.
Buddy.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, buddy, we're live, pal.
Yeah, I was just talking to one of my friends about something.
We'll talk about that in a bit. Also joining us from up north,
he's 80 years old, brother. I know he's 80 years old, brother, but he's
just gonna mute you. It's fine. So, not much news to talk about this week. Not much news to talk about this week, right?
No, none. There wasn't the greatest match of all time.
Potentially, arguably.
There wasn't, people being proven wrong about how fake wrestling is. There wasn't Nebraska being a belly button.
Yep.
There wasn't brand new sponsorship.
Right up there. That's
I can't believe after like 2 years we still can't get this right.
You know what? That's his fault.
Yeah. You know what I have to say?
It is his fault.
That way. I got that right on the first try, by the way.
Yeah? The first try?
Yeah, the number one try. But yes, so to address the elephant in the room first, right up there, Factor 75 is our new sponsor, at least for this and a couple future episodes. It's a really limited time thing. Use that code there. You get 60% off your first box there. I just figured it was a great fit for us to do Factor 75
we need to get
as
fit.
a sponsor. Because in the last 7 TikToks, someone's hopped on and called me fat in the comments. And that's fine. That's fine. If that's what you want to do,
all of that.
Fine.
And yes, all of us do need some extra fitness, but separate from all of that, one of the great things about it is how convenient it is. I know for a fact that there are at least 3 people in this podcast who have hectic, busy schedules, 2 of which have children involved. Mm-hmm. So it just makes life a lot easier when those late nights, maybe you get home.
Or if you can't really cook, it kind of helps.
Home at 7:30 or 8.
Well, that's the nice thing with Factor.
Chef-designed meals. It's fantastic.
And the thing with Factor is, unlike a lot of the other meal prep ones, you don't actually even have to cook this. It's pre-made meals, right? You just have to heat them up. And
for you lazy bones out there, you just got to heat it up. Heat it up.
Lazy bones.
It's a preparation or anything like that.
For you lazy bones out there.
for this lazy bone out here. It's perfect.
But we'll talk more about that in a bit. For first, we just want to talk about wrestling because that's what we're here. And it's actually been a long time since we really just got to talk about wrestling. We took some time off for the holidays. We had a lot of fucking wrestling happening during the holidays that we really didn't get a chance to talk about. We came back for the FBI this week, and we had some fun talking about our resolutions for the year. But let's talk about what has happened in wrestling. We had Wrestle Kingdom, which featured, as D.A. Fabe mentioned, arguably one of the best matches of all time. If you go by Meltzer ratings, it's up there. I understand not everyone goes by Meltzer ratings.
Not
And
everyone.
Meltzer ratings are not for everyone. But he gave it, I believe, 6.5, 6.25 stars, which puts it at the second highest rated, tied for second highest rated wrestling match of all time, according to Meltzer.
Now, mind you, Meltzer does not have a rating for Flair Steamboat 3.
I thought he did. I thought that was one of the
legends you guys rated.
Yeah. Give me a second.
Does he end up rating older show? I mean, he's been in the business for like 40 years.
He's been in the business for so long that
he probably has everything. Okay, that's fair.
Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find. Oh. I gotta be on the right screen to do it.
Would help.
Yeah, Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat in 1989 was his first ever 5-star. The highest ever rated for 7 stars was Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega at Dominion 6. I don't know why it's 6.9. Oh, I guess that's the star rating.
Let's see. Flair Steamboat 18. March 18th of 1989 was his first ever 6-star match. That's important to know because he didn't just invent that for Omega. He already had one for that. Wrestle War 91, which included Ric Flair in it, but it was a War Games match, had 5 stars. Flair versus Terry Funk had 5 stars. Flair versus Steamboat from Wrestle War 89, which was May 7th, 89, had 5 stars. Flair Steamboat from Clash of Champions 89 had 5 stars. That was the 2 out of 3 falls match. And Flair Steamboat from Chi-Town Rumble of 89 also had 5 stars. That was in February of 89. So all of the Flair Steamboat matches.
90s, I tell you what.
Yeah. All of the Flair Steamboat matches had 5 stars. Also important, Flair versus Barry Windham from Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup 87 had 5 stars, as well as Flair Windham from NWA Fayetteville show, not even a pay-per-view. And Flair versus Barry Windham from CWF Battle of the Belts also had 5 stars. So
You know what they didn't have? None of those other matches had? Fragments of table flying off of Will Ospreay's face.
yeah. Every time I watch a New Japan match, I'm struck by how small
Their
the
types of
tables are
tables,
in Japan.
right? Yeah.
Those tables are so tiny looking, but they also are so much stiffer looking. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like American tables just seem to crumble like they're made of toothpicks. And the Japanese tables, like, you often see them have to put someone through a table 2 or 3 times for it to break. Not so much this time, though.
No, just 12 times he had to bash his face into it.
Yeah.
12 times.
It was a brutal match.
Yes,
Brutal,
it was.
brutal, brutal. Oh, it's a good match.
So Okada and Omega is the only one that's beaten it, huh? According to Meltzer.
That's Okada Omega from Dominion on
Dominion.
2008. Dominion, excuse me.
Dominion.
What's your opinion on Dominion?
Dominion. There's a 2 out
And
of 3
his
falls
last, his last like WWE related show was NXT Takeover. NXT Takeover 36.
But yeah, sorry. Where was it? I had it. Anyways, it was with Adam Cole, baby. So it's back in 2019, which is
Last
messed.
time you gave
That was
WWE a 5-star.
like a 5-star match. Yeah.
Well,
I
apparently
mean, and
you watched
that's
the same
a
Seth Rollins Cody Rhodes matches that we
that
did.
is a worthwhile criticism to talk about. If you don't like the Meltzer ratings,
Cole
that's
and
fine.
Gargano. Cole versus Gargano.
Mr. Gargano. If you don't like Meltzer ratings, it's understandable. He obviously has a style that he appreciates more, and that's the New Japan style, right?
yes.
The hard hitting,
He doesn't hand them out a lot for AEW either.
not a ton. Although Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus Matt and Nick Jackson in 2020 at Revolution did get 6 stars. Then Lucha Brothers versus Young Bucks at All Out 2021 got 5.75.
I marked out for huge.
Also, while it
Briscoe
wasn't
and,
an AEW
FTR
match, young Briscoes versus FTR dog collar match got 5.5 stars. Page versus Omega at Full Gear 2021 got 5.5 stars. I'm on a list that's sorting them by stars, so not by date. Although I probably can sort them by date if I want to. Anyways, but you know, it's worth mentioning. I understand if some people don't like his ratings, because his ratings very heavily favor the
he also
more.
does not rate cinematic matches, and we've all said that there's been a couple of those that made us go, that was fantastic.
Well, I mean, specifically, he rates based off of live performance capability, right? And in his opinion, cinematic matches can be heavily edited to only show the good moves and not any of the
In fact,
not so good.
We've critiqued some that were matches like Edge versus Randy Orton for looking up at Edge's face as though we're the mat. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
However, the one that we liked the most contained very little actual in-ring performing wrestling. And
Which,
that is
you know,
by
I
far
guess
what
could
I
support
consider the
his
cinematic
side of the thing, that cinematic matches shouldn't qualify as matches. They should qualify as cinematics,
Yes.
you know, or whatever.
And that was if he was giving stars for promotion, that was a 6.5 star promotion. I mean,
before we get too heavy into things, I want to make sure everyone remembers I am going to be opening a box of these tonight, because
I am not. I am out.
I only have one more box, because in full disclosure, after the show Tuesday night, I couldn't help myself and I opened another box.
Oh my god.
Any amazeballs?
It was actually a disappointing box. I have to be honest with you. It was the first one that didn't include a piece of the mat. So I was disappointed. I am trying to formulate a plan for what to do. As of right now, this is my stack of duplicates. I am sure it will get bigger by the time I'm done opening. And while there are some duplicates within the duplicates, right? I'm trying to decide. Like, I've got 2 Arn Andersons in here, 2 Butcher and Blades, 2 Jade Cargills,
Do I
2
detect
Ortizes.
a giveaway for any factor purchases?
Potentially 2 Jamie Hayters. And so my thoughts are, I don't know if I can tie it directly to purchases, because I don't get a tracker of who exactly purchases.
But if they show us their...
But more specifically, I think more specifically just subscribers. Sure. I've got a goal up on our page, on our Twitch page, that my goal is to get 10 new subscribers this month. Right? So if we can get 10 new subscribers this month, right? I will open up a giveaway, and you don't have to be a new subscriber to be eligible to the giveaway. But I will open up a giveaway if I can get 10 new subscribers. I'll do a random lottery giveaway, and whoever wins will get all of my duplicates.
Fernando, this is you, bud. When you
I don't know,
watch this
Fernando.
on Facebook later on.
I don't think he ever. Yeah, I think after Facebook was gone, he was gone.
You don't know that.
I mean, I guess we'll know if he ends up showing up.
But
To show up, to show out, bud.
Yeah, buddy.
So you gonna open one real quick?
I'll go ahead and open one.
And
Let's
then
see.
we can
I got
talk a
8
little More
packages.
stuff that might have happened. I don't know. At Wrestle Kingdom.
Number 1 through 8. Go.
6.
6.
In honor of Ambrosia, number 3. Oh no, you already said 6.
Yep, already said 6.
I mean,
Ambrosia will have to come on and tell us herself. 21. Okay. Starting off, I don't think I'd gotten a Taz before.
Hey.
EW.
Yep.
Ray Phoenix.
Nice.
Not sure I had one of him. I did remember having a Ryu Mizunami.
Oh, nice. And I think you have that exact one, actually.
Yeah. I will point out, they chose the dumbest look to have on her face.
Huh?
Like it looks,
Yo, is this a private party?
Hey. Nice. I'm still shocked that they haven't done anything with them since, like,
The-
2019.
I think the problem that's happened with Private Party is every time they start to get a little heat under them, one of them gets a little injured. Not like massive injured, out for months injured, but injured enough that they have to miss a few weeks, and it just slows their momentum down. We got a Cash Wheeler.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure I got at least one Dax, so that means I get the full set there.
Boom.
We got a
You got the full
standard
revival.
blue main features Nyla Rose.
Nice.
And then a gold main features Matt Jackson.
Matt and Nate just have too many of the main features, man.
And then finally
Thunder Rosa.
a Thunder Rosa gold card. So, not the most spectacular pack, but not a bad pack. 7 more to go later on. So yeah, Wrestle Kingdom had so much fun stuff happen at it, right?
There might have even been somebody who showed up at it.
Yes.
Somebody
The-
we haven't seen in a few months.
The worst kept secret in professional wrestling, but I kind of feel like on purpose, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of like how CM Punk was the worst kept secret for AEW. Like, if it's a secret and an absolute surprise, it doesn't actually drive viewers to the show, right? You have to kind of suspicion it in advance to drive viewers. And I would like to point out that New Japan announced, I want to say it's 40,000 new signups to New Japan World because of Miss Vernado.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That's pretty impressive,
not just
actually.
Miss Vernado.
maybe not because of
Well,
because
I mean-
of entire says that each one of these people said, I am here specifically for this
Because of this show.
because of this
That's
show
very possible.
and can be tied to her. I mean, you could also argue that 6.25 star match between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay might have led to some of that.
That's fair.
I would suggest Kenny
And these aren't like
Omega's
first-time
exposure has
subscribers.
something to do with that.
And these aren't necessarily first-time subscribers either. You know what I mean? It could be
I
people who
don't know
subscribe
what
to
metrics
month
they
and-
use
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it.
specifically, but I will point out that they can spot at what point during the match people subscribed. Like if they were live subscriptions, they can see, oh, these people all signed up during the Kyrie versus Tam Nakano match because they wanted to be there for what happened afterwards, right?
And that number was what?
I don't know. I don't know those numbers. I can say they can. So if they're saying that they think it's because of her, then they probably have at least some evidence to support that she was at least part of that. I didn't wear my hat tonight, and my hair's driving me nuts. I apologize.
It's driving me nuts too, bud.
It's like the old joke. A pirate walks into a bar, and he's got one of the big steering wheels for the pirate ships attached to his belt buckle. He says, "I'd like a beer." And the bartender says, "Okay, here's your beer, but I gotta ask, why do you have the steering wheel attached to your belt buckle?" And he's like, "I don't know, but it's driving me nuts."
I like it. I like it.
But
I
I'm
think
Chang.
you're ahead of the game for dad jokes. I think
Yes, I've been practicing my whole life.
you're pacing a little ahead of where your daughter's at. So I'm proud of you for that, bud.
I'm a veteran dad joker long before I was a dad. So, I do feel a little bit bad. Kazuchika Okada versus Jay White only got 4.25 stars, 4.5. And I think it was a better match than that. I do think it probably suffered following up the Kenny Omega Will Ospreay match. And I get it. It was your world championship match. You kind of want to have that as the main event. But
I don't know. I'd like to hear what Mark Henry thought should have been the main event.
it's time for the main event.
My jokes are horrible.
I will point out, right, here's the deal. It was a big moment in New Japan. Just the fact that they had a women's match on Wrestle Kingdom, right? This was the first time they ever had a women's match at Wrestle Kingdom, because until recently, Stardom and New Japan were operated as completely separate businesses, right? Now they are operated together. This IWGP Women's title is meant to be kind of a touring title, whereas the Stardom title will stay in Stardom, right? But they only gave it less than 6 minutes for the match. And then the whole Mercedes money thing came out afterwards. So out of a 3-hour-long pay-per-view, there was less than 10 minutes dedicated to the women. Whereas I will then point out that Tama Tonga versus Carl Anderson got 9.5 minutes by itself. TJP and Francisco Akira versus Leo Rush and Yo got 10.5 minutes by itself. Right? It's like, could you have at least given the women 10 minutes for their match?
No.
I'm not saying you have to give them 34 minutes like you gave Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, or even 17 minutes like you gave Tanahashi versus El Desperado, Master Wato, and Taiji Ishimori in the 4-way for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. You just like a little bit more than 5.5 minutes is all I'm saying.
I think you're asking an awful lot, but
Yeah, I am a greedy sumbitch. Apparently. Greedy.
All the greed.
So I don't know if we'd previously talked about it, but apparently WWE has a lot of interest in Hikuleo, who recently was kicked out of Bullet Club. And Hikuleo has wrestled a few times on AEW. He is a very, very big guy, like tall. He is. I'm trying to remember. I thought he was related to somebody. He is the brother of Tamatanga and adoptive brother of Tangaloa, and then his adoptive father. It was Haku, right? So he was raised by Haku.
Right, and the Usos are his cousins, no? Technically?
Yes. So he's part of, I
the
believe. So.
NOI legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently, anyways, WWE has interest in him. And that's great. I don't want to take anything away with it. I don't necessarily think that's the best fit for him, and especially with the stuff that we mentioned a little bit earlier. I don't know if it's the best place for him to go for that. But reports came out this week that they are interested in the just freshly crowned never openweight champion Tamatanga, Hikuleo's brother. And possibly in Tangaloa, his stepbrother. So it could be that they're wanting to enhance the bloodline some more. I don't feel like the bloodline needs more people in it, but
Well,
or do they want to bring them in?
Need one more because at Royal Rumble you may lose a member to helping his best friend.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. But that's beside the point. I think the more likely thing would be bringing them in as challengers, right? Because Tamatanga and Tangaloa wrestle as Guerrillas of Destiny. Add in their brother Hikuleo, and you've got challengers for the Usos and potentially a challenger for, maybe not straight to Roman Reigns, but for Solo Sikoa.
But very, very open possibility to say, we don't acknowledge you, which is just an instant feud.
Yeah. But it does make me say, you remember a few months ago when reports first came out that WWE was working with New Japan in some ways? Like, oh, look, they're letting Carl Anderson wrestle at Wrestle Kingdom. Oh, look, they allowed Shinsuke to wrestle against Great Muta at Pro Wrestling Noah. Different company, I know, but still, they're more open to working with New Japan. I'm beginning to feel like what really happened is they were more interested in scouting New Japan.
Could be.
Because since then, the rumors have been very heavy that, hey, WWE is interested in this guy from New Japan. Tamatanga apparently only has a month or so left on his contract, which makes me wonder if giving him the never openweight was New Japan's, like, throwing him a championship to try to convince him to stay.
That would make sense.
I worry that will backfire on them because it did with Carl Anderson, who was working on a handshake deal, and they gave him a championship, hoping that that would convince him to say, hey, I want to stay here. And then WWE was like, hey, how about you come back? And he's like, okay. But
Well, WWE's done that before too, right? Someone's about to leave, they throw a championship on them. Makes
WWE
sense.
has, which is why it makes
Yeah.
sense for New Japan to do it, yes. But
For
again, WWE also did get burned by it at one point in the past, where a champion left and went to a competitor with the belt because they were not under a contract to lose the belt first.
Then they also spent $300,000 to fix it.
Mm-hmm. Heck, it's even as part of the plot line for the screw job, that they were worried that Bret Hart was going to do the exact same thing. They said, listen, if we let you keep win the match in your hometown, and then you have the belt, and now you're not under contract, what's going to stop you from taking this belt over to our competitor? He's like, I promise I won't.
Wasn't his hometown.
I used air quotes.
Because it was not
Home
even
country.
his home province.
Nope.
Here's a fun fact. Just talking about this is a fun Canada fact.
Hey.
You know that almost 50% of the landmass for America, the United States of America, is north of the lowest point in Canada?
You might have to say that again.
The lowest point in Canada,
Okay.
like in terms of a map,
Southernmost.
the southernmost, right? Is lower than almost 50% of the United States, not even counting Alaska.
In terms of what?
In terms of north to south.
Oh, just no. Okay. I was like, okay.
What's the southernmost point in Canada? It's not. It's obviously not the peninsula there by Detroit, if that's the case.
I'm trying to find a good map to show it here. I watched a video on it the other day, and
Who cares about you, JLB?
It does say Point Pelee is Canada's most southern point.
that would be it.
But
And it's not quite 50%, but it's almost 50% of America, from a landmass standpoint, is north of that. Let me see if I can find it this way. Hold on.
Welcome to Raw and Order Geography.
yup.
Specifically Canadian geography.
Yeah, so that's essentially but that's off Lake Erie though.
So that is the 41.7 degree latitude, right?
That's what it's telling me.
So give me another thing.
You really went ADD on that one, huh? Damn.
It is, Chicago is farther north than that point. Which also means that the city that I live in, Omaha, Nebraska, is barely south of that point.
Which is also south of San Francisco's. Omaha.
Mm-hmm. Which also, Omaha is actually north of San Francisco.
Not by much then.
Let me see. Do they have a view of it that includes latitude lines?
Omaha's latitude.
Because San Francisco is actually south of Kansas City in terms of latitude.
37.77 north is San Francisco. Omaha is 41 up 15. Yep, so 4 degrees north is what we are.
But it also means that there is a section of California, a sliver along the top of it, that is actually farther north than the most southern point of Canada. So there is a huge, it's probably about 40% of America, landmass-wise, is farther north, right? It's just,
snap.
people always consider
That's
Canada like, oh, it's the Great White North. It's
Great
so
White
far,
North. Yeah.
so far north. But fun fact,
That is a fun fact.
almost all of North Dakota is farther north than Montreal.
Entirely north of this latitude is Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Damn.
And mostly north of it is like Wyoming. Not quite all of it, but most of it. Most of it is Idaho. Not quite all of it. Anyways, it's just an interesting fact I'd learned the other day, and I was
That's
like,
a fun fact, though. Yeah.
because you always people always think of Canada as our neighbors to the north, but for
Right.
lots of us in America, it's also our neighbors to the east.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, I say landmass.
I mean-
in terms of population, right? Most of America's population is south of there.
Coastal and
Right.
But in fairness, most of Canada's population
Is in Ontario.
is
So-
in that area. Not as far north as
Not-
far south as that.
Right.
But
Right.
if you draw a line across the northern border of the United States and just put the line straight across, like over 50% of Canada's population lives below that line.
Yeah.
I think that's funny. Anyways,
That's crazy.
what else to talk about? Well, let's talk about really quickly the other elephant in the room. Vince McMahon is back at WWE.
Insert Eric Bischoff's "I'm Back" theme music.
Yeah.
So
He's
we had the
he's
Wall Street Journal come
reportedly-
out article, right?
Well, first he reportedly in their all hands on deck Zoom meeting, it's reported that he has said that creative is not going to change. Triple H is still in charge of creative. Day-to-day operations are still in Nick Khan and Stephanie's hands. That he's here as CEO of the board, chairman of the board, and primarily to help negotiate the sale of the company. If that is true, and he keeps his hands off the creative, then I'm trying to couch my words as best I can. It's not the worst thing in the world. I think it's horrible. I think based on what he did, he shouldn't be back. But at least he's not coming back and taking over creative. I don't expect to see him walk out on Raw tomorrow and be like, guess who's back, bitches?
No chance.
Will he?
Joe
Maybe.
Scott.
But I don't expect
I
him
mean-
to.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like his ego would make him want to do that. I don't know. Wouldn't put it past him.
I think his ego will have
His ego makes him want to earn a lot of money. And so right now the focus is on selling the company, reportedly. But I also want to point out, as chairman of the board, he is very definitely got the creative on a short leash, right? He's basically
Right.
saying, if you guys can't turn ratings around, I will come and take over. I'm 100% certain he said that. Especially considering last week's Raw, 1.1 million.
Okay, so it's low. Word.
It's low. There have been episodes of AEW Dynamite that have gotten more than 1.1 million. Now, it was
Yeah, but I mean,
Christmas,
it was
New
the
Year's, all
recap
of that
show.
stuff.
Yeah.
No, this was the live Raw.
Oh,
This was
okay.
the live Raw after New Year's. But
The one that opened with Sami Zayn and then the match.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
but it's
true.
still
My bad.
it's still one head-to-head ratings wise with Dynamite. Like if you compared week to day-to-day ratings, it beat Dynamite. Dynamite was down at like 8.65, something like that. But for the entirety of Dynamite's existence, they've been able to say, Dynamite's ratings are always still lower than Raw. No matter how low Raw has gotten, they've still beat Dynamite.
Right.
But they can't say that about this one. Because there have been Dynamites that have gotten better ratings than. The big thing I want to say is I'm not happy he's back.
Right.
Like, it's not going to change me watching the show right now. However, the big thing that he's supposedly back for is to help negotiate the sale of the company, right?
Apparently.
And there are a lot of people on the list, depending on which analyst you talk to. A lot of people on the list. NBC Universal is the top of the list, no matter who you talk to, right? That's the owners of Peacock. It makes sense for them to want to buy WWE. They already invested $5 billion in rights to WWE. Buy the whole company, and then you have it as your powerhouse show, right? I get it, right? They're the top ones. Disney's been on the list. HBO, Warner Discovery has been on the list. The company, and I looked it up before the show, and I blanked on the company that owns UFC is on the list. Empire Holding Groups or whatever it is. Anyways. But there's one company that's been on some of the lists. No, not company, but one group that's been on some lists that I want to say is my line in the sand, and that's Saudi Royal Holdings, right? MBS. There are some people who speculate that the Saudi royal family is wanting to buy WWE. Which, let's be honest, they put how many billions of dollars in the contract for WWE to get them to perform 4 times a year over there?
Yeah,
Right.
that's it.
2 times a year
We've
now?
even have probably reported in the past too that they were willing to buy the WWE for like what, 8 billion, I think it was at one point. Like that was a rumored thing that they wanted to do back in like 2020 or 2019. So,
So my line in the sand, I'm saying this now. If the Saudi Royal Trust buys WWE, this wrestling fan is out on WWE. That's my line in the sand. That's my red flag that I can't get past. It's not the most likely scenario, I don't think, but I want to put that out there. That's a line that if you are someone from WWE and you're negotiating the sale, I want you to know that there are at least some fans out there that will not support the company if it's in Saudi.
I'm opening the pool that it doesn't sell. It's my number 1 spot, and my number 2 spot is NBC Universal.
Yeah.
I really think they want this Peacock thing to take off much bigger than it already is.
I think Peacock is the most likely landing spot for it.
NBC Universal.
Yes. I
In
think
which
that's
case, I think Fox gets a little grumpy about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the deal. What does it do to the Fox deal?
Well, it wouldn't go into effect until the Fox deal is over.
Yeah, this probably won't happen until like after 2024. Like
Whether it goes into effect
at the end of 2023.
Most people are expecting the sale to be announced within the next 3 to 6 months.
At which point they would have to honor the Fox deal.
Yes. That's the thing.
Or Fox could back out. And the controls everything for Fox. So Fox could say, no, we get the better superstars, we get this, we get that, to NBC Universal. Which could make things a little unique.
Woo, woo, woo.
Hey, good job,
But-
Dr. Strange Hair.
I got covered up, but it's fine. Yep. Woo, woo, woo. Anyways, I had to lean down to pick up because I dropped my cards from my second pack opening. So, anyways, that's all I want to say. If you guys want to talk about it a little bit more, it is what it is. I think it's shitty. I think he shouldn't have come back, but he's back as long as he keeps his hand off the product.
That's it. At least until after Elimination Chamber. Okay? I specifically bought tickets because I wanted to see a Triple H era live event. Because I figured, hey, I might actually have fun at a live event now. So, me selfishly saying, as long as it's after Elimination Chamber and he decides he wants to mess around with the product again, go ahead. With that said, though, joking aside, obviously I'm not happy about it. I get Vince McMahon and his ego wanting to do it, though. It is something that he essentially created completely from the ground up. Well, mostly from the ground up, with everything changing from TV deals and networks and all that, and getting all of that in order. With that said, I hope he at least puts his ego in check just to at least sell the company, because I would get that as this being your baby for 40 plus years. I want to have a say in the selling of what I created. Completely understand that. No problem there. I mean, I could also argue, well, then maybe you shouldn't have sexually assaulted people and paid them off to help keep your baby a clean, perfect selling mechanism for the future and not hinder your product that way. But, Vince McMahon is Vince McMahon. Just I don't care, because as of this rate, it's not supposed to touch the WWE product. Triple H is still in creative control. Stephanie and Nick Khan are still the co-CEOs of the company. The roster apparently likes what's going on now. Nick Khan is very favored in the back, and in the sense that he's a good boss, just like Steph is. We haven't heard any crazy bad news. So if you want to sell the company or do whatever, or make sure the TV deals get redistributed for Fox and NBC, if you're not selling the company right away, by all means, I don't care. I get it. You created it. You want to see it through. You want it to have a future. Ultimately, it's also going to affect you because you have the majority shares in the company. So you want the most profit possible. Cool. Just leave my WWE creative alone. Leave it alone. Don't touch it.
Well,
Touche pas.
I mean, here's the deal. At the end of the day, if Trips is not going to succeed at this, we need to be able to see that it's Trips. If, just like we know right now that the reason Rampage suffers is Tony Khan. That's not saying Tony Khan's bad at it. That's not saying anything in general. It's saying that Rampage suffers partially because of Tony Khan. We see when he books more aggressively, like Dynamite, he gets better turnout on Rampage. If he doesn't book Rampage aggressively, and it's a enhancement show.
I
Turnout's
also
not as
think
good
with
on
Rampage,
those Fridays.
part of the problem is,
It's Friday. You're right.
well, it's Friday, but I'm also going to say it has what I call 205 Live syndrome,
Baby Brothers.
Ooh.
where
Harsh.
where because it is often taped after the end of Dynamite, you've got a crowd that's already used up all of their enthusiasm during Dynamite. And then they get a little bit meh. And a lot of people are like, well, the main event's over, I'm going home. And so the crowd starts to trickle out. So on and so forth. Those are all things that I think hurt Dynamite. And then Friday night specifically as late as it is.
Yeah, Friday night is the weakest night in television.
But even if it was Friday night at 7 Central, I think it'd be probably better in terms of ratings wise. But it's 9 Central, which means it's 10 Eastern. On a Friday night, people are either out or asleep by then, right? Anyways, go through my second pack that I picked up off the floor. Kyle O'Reilly. Brian Danielson. I'm pretty sure I've already had like 2 or 3 of that one. A regular Thunder Rosa to match the gold Thunder Rosa I got out of the last pack. It's Wardlow's World. Haven't seen him since his haircut.
No, that's it. I feel like maybe a heel turn's gonna come. Maybe.
Angelico. I don't know. I think
maybe
he
it was
just wanted a
ROH.
haircut. I think he
just
just
think he
wanted a
wanted a
haircut.
haircut.
He wanted an excuse for a haircut. He's going to come back and he's going to go after that. Maybe the Ring of Honor championship, television championship, or he's going to try to move up to the main event. But the regular blue Penta El Zero main features. A gold Ty Conti. And a gold main features Orange Cassidy. I don't believe I have a gold one of those yet. Anyways, really quickly, I'm going to take a break right now. I'm going to share something here. Because I want to talk about it. Specifically, what I want to talk about, we mentioned it earlier. Our sponsor for this episode and a few future episodes. And that is Factor 75. Factor, I think, is the name of the company. Factor 75 is the address you'll end up going. That little thing above my head there has the code in it. You can find it on our Twitch page. You can find it in the copy below, whatever. But it's Factor SE 13652. If you use that code, click the link that's on our page. Right, and it'll take you there with the code. Get 60% off your first box. 60% off. And so you can see right here how simple it is. You click the link and it automatically applies the discount. It says it right there at the top of the screen. Boom. You get to choose here. They've got 5 different meal plan choices that you can do. Right? So for me, I want to lose weight. Calorie Smart would be good, but I also like food to taste good, so I'm going to stick with Chef's Choice. But you can choose multiples. Like I could choose Protein Plus if I wanted to bulk up, or Calorie Smart, or Keto. We have a certain member of the group right now on audio only, DA Fabe, who likes to do keto. Right?
I do like to do keto.
So for sake of it, I'm going to click that as well. I'm going to say my wife and I are ordering 10 meals. That's enough for 2 meals, 1 for each of us every weekday during the week while we're working. Come home, have our lunch meal and our nighttime meal, already made up, right? So you click those, you select the plan that you want. You can do 6, 8, 10. You can put in your information here, and then you get to choose things you want. You can click the continue with Facebook,
But Officer
continue
Smarks.
with Google, continue with Apple. Whichever one of those you want to log into, right? Let's see what's on the menu. Click through. Look at this. Keto plan. Sun-dried tomato chicken with zucchini noodles. Right? Creamy Parmesan chicken with broccoli and tomatoes.
Wait, what?
I love me my parm.
I would probably eat that.
Yeah, I know.
I'd probably put something on the broccoli and you know, like a cheese sauce or something. But I would
Jesus.
Yeah. Ranch baked chicken with cheesy broccoli rice and roasted mushrooms. Right? Let's come down here to the bottom here. Wild mushroom filet mignon, that's keto and protein plus.
Damn. Wow, nice.
Blackened tofu with Cajun broccoli, peppers, and vegan remoulade. Look at that. They've got vegetarian options. Pork tenderloin and smoky cheddar. I can't read the rest of it. Grits. There we go. Look at that. Look at that meal. With squash, apple, walnut medley, and pumpkin mostarda. I don't even know how to say that word. Mostarda?
And you know, with the prices of how groceries are these days, this is actually a pretty affordable option as well. And it's already cooked for you, correct? It's already done.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to heat it up.
Exactly. Look at this here. This one's for you, Fabe. Jalapeno popper burger with cauliflower popper rice and roasted zucchini.
You dang Skippy, that's for me, except for the zucchini.
Yeah.
But I don't have to eat the zucchini. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. Just like when you go to McDonald's and you don't want pickles on your burger, you don't have to get pickles on your burger. You don't have to eat the zucchini if you get this.
Shredded chicken taco bowl. Roasted corn salsa, cilantro, lime, sour cream. That's all entirely up my alley.
And we could really talk about it.
Yeah, we could talk about wrestling. Country barbecue chicken, brown butter, sweet potato mash, and garlic green beans. That is up my alley as well. But look at all these foods. I'm just now noticing that on your screen it shows the 60% off, and it does not show the full screen. I wonder why. Let me stop sharing and see if resharing that screen. Oh, that's why when I clicked menu, it went over to the menu on a different tab. Here's the menu. This way you can see. Look at these beautiful dishes.
Ooh. That spicy poblano beef bowl looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Scallion sour cream. Let's bring that up full screen. Look at that.
Wow, that does look delish. Nice.
That's keto, and I would eat it.
Huh.
Enjoy spicy, bold flavors in this simple yet satisfying keto bowl. We start by simmering ground beef with cumin, chili powder, and cayenne. Kick it up even more with jalapeno and poblano peppers, then sprinkle on some cheddar cheese. We've also added a side of broccoli rice for a boost of veggies and a drizzle of scallion sour cream to cool things off. And right underneath that gives you all of the ingredients. Right there.
There you go. So if on a certain week you're not feeling lazy, you, my friends, could try to make it on your own.
You sure could,
But if not,
more specifically,
Factor 75.
there's
there
no
for ya.
monosodium glutamate on that list there. It's all stuff you can understand. Listen, I'm a science guy. I always hate it when people are like, "Oh, look at this. It's got words I don't understand. These are horrible chemicals." Everything's a chemical, people. Anyways.
Just because you don't
Factor
understand
75.
it doesn't make it bad.
Yes. Factor 75. It's pretty simple. Click the link in our doobly-doos. Enter that code. If you click the link, you don't even have to enter the code. You don't. It's already in there.
Nice.
Broccoli and rice, scallion, sour cream.
So use the link or go to gofactor75.com. Use the code FACTOR, SE13652 for 60% off your first box.
We have a goal in the
And-
next 2 weeks, right?
We do. We have a goal of 12. 12 people to use that link. Right?
It's exciting.
Saves time, helps you reach your goals, fits your lifestyle.
New year, new you. Make it
I
with
can tell you
Factor
one of the
75.
hardest things, as a guy who does keto, what would you say, about 80% of the year, Smarks?
At least, yeah.
Roughly 80% of the year, to try and keep my swelling, my physical health in the right spot, because I do have a schedule that's just brutal. I can tell you, for me, the reason that this is really great, coming off the Christmas season, one of the hardest things to do is that meal prep and getting that stuff set up and get back into ketosis. Now, this is different. People are different ways. But for me, I put on 15 pounds of carb-based weight over Christmas. That's sugary crap that people gave me for Christmas. And the big thing that this does for me is it tells me I'm going to be in ketosis at the end of a 2 week or month or whatever period, until I can get myself back on the plan that I need to be on with meal prep and everything. I don't have to buy 21 meals a week. I can buy 5 or 10 meals a week. Stuff that allows me, in fact, I fast from 8 o'clock at night till noon the next day. So, unfortunately, I actually have 16 hours there where I am not going to be eating. 2 meals in that time, totaling about 1,000 calories. Add a couple of my Quest bars, and I'm good for that time. That's really great for me to be able to set that up, and then I can still let my son eat normal meals in that time. So I got to tell you, this is a really great way to set up to start the dietary stuff. And I'm not telling everybody to go out there and have a new year start to your diet. No new year, new you. I'm telling you, if you're going to try something new, this is a great way to try something new and get it really inexpensive, thanks to the deal that Smarks negotiated with us from Factor. What a gift this is. I know that I'm going to try it. I've wanted to try it for a while, and then Smarks negotiated this deal. And boy, I'm jacked about it, I have to admit.
I am too. Frankly, like I said, I've been called fat multiple times. And it's water off a duck's back. I'm fine. I am fat, right? But you know what I'd like to be? Not quite
Healthy.
so fat.
Well, and most importantly, healthy. I mean, if you can control your calorie count in a day and have, what is it? That's just short of 1,200 calories a day on 2 meals.
We'll get into the nitty gritty. I've put on weight since my mother died. Grief
Travel
will
does
do
that
things.
too, big time.
Grief will do things to your body. And I would like to maybe, just maybe, get back down to where I was prior to my mom dying. It'd be great to get farther, right? I'm not going to lie, right? But just to get back to where I was would be a great thing, right?
There's one unique thing that you and I both have, and that's a young child for older gentlemen. You are in your 40s, and I'm in my 40s. Yours is younger than mine. We both will have children that will graduate high school after we're 50. Both of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I want to do? I want to be around to see that.
Hey,
And this is the way I can do it to help me reset and get back on it.
The other thing, like we said before, we're busy. You're busy. If you're watching this, there's a good chance you're busy, right? You know what? We're all busy. And Factor, you don't have to prep things. You don't have to cook things. All those other meal plan ones, you have to cook some. You have to put it all together. You have to cook it and all that. And that's great if you have the time. But if you're busy, right, they come together in minutes, right? You don't have to do all this stuff. You just heat it up and go, right? So it's there. It's going to fit your lifestyle, whether you're keto or you're just looking to cut calories, or you're vegan or vegetarian or or, you know, you're looking to, like I said, bulk up, wanting to add that extra protein to your day, they've got those options for you as well. And then because they're fast, they help you cut down on things like takeout. Like somebody here who ordered takeout Chinese tonight because he didn't feel like cooking.
Or when you're at work and you do a DoorDash. I have a DoorDash addiction. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, there's a lot of times I'm ordering that salad for lunch and I go, I should also get the carb-loaded burrito.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
Yep.
Probably shouldn't have done that.
They also have add-ons that you can add, like keto shakes and desserts and smoothies. So, but that's enough talking about it right now. I've got the link going down below, so you can do that. GoFactor75.com. Use the code FactorSE13652 for 60% off your first order. We'll talk about it more in the future. I hope to. I want to put together a whole video of doing the order. I just want to make sure I'm not exposing personal information. So, rather than doing that live, I'll do that in a pre-recorded video. But there's so many good meals showing up on this that it's nuts. Creamy pesto
And the
pork chop.
regular price is more than you would spend at fast food in a day. The regular price is averages about $11 a meal. This, with your discount, is cheaper than McDonald's for a single person on the same calorie count.
Yeah.
With better food. I mean, McDonald's is garbage.
With the discount, even without the discount, it still averages like $5 a meal. $5 to $6 a meal.
No, it's 11 a day is what they say.
Yeah.
11 a day for 2 meals a day. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And for my Canadian fellers, I don't think that discount code works, so we'll look into the discount code for you guys. But like my fellow co-host here said, it's still pretty affordable either way. Yeah. And if you're looking to try and at least get healthy, I know you don't like the new year, new me stuff, but this is a great way to at least get you on the right path.
Yes.
Awesome, baby. All right, let's get back to talking some wrestling.
Yes, let
Or
us
wrestling.
talk some wrestling. So what else happened since we were last here? WWE finished up their year with a clip show, so that's not so great. AEW had
We
some
did,
good
since
shows.
the last time we were on, see one of the reasonable conversations for GOAT. And that is the return of John Cena.
No, yeah, that's exactly. Here's the deal. John Cena, I saw an article in November that had stated that if John Cena didn't wrestle before the end of the year, it would be the first year in 20 years that he didn't wrestle. And John Cena must have saw that article as well and said, well, I can't fucking let that happen. So what did he do? He arranged to wrestle a tag match with Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn and the head of the table, Roman Reigns, on literally the last televised show of the year.
Actually, the last televised... No, it wasn't the last televised match, because there was another match after that.
Mm-hmm. So. And he was fine. He did what he had to do. You know, he did the John Cena things that John Cena does, right? He was not in prime of his career status, you know what I mean? He definitely had some ring rust. But it's still, It was good. It was fun to see him. It was also funny to see his giant bald spot on the back of his head.
Oh, the memes loved that one. Jeez.
Here's what it comes down to me. Fucking Jeremy Piven was able to go from mostly bald to a full head of hair overnight in Hollywood once he got some money behind him. What is stopping John Cena? Like, seriously, I don't know what service Jeremy Piven used. If you're young, you might not even know who Jeremy Piven is because he's not, like, huge and modern. Television and movies, but he was really big for a while in the 90s, early 2000s, right?
Oh. Well, he was
And
also in that popular show. I think that was actually a 90s show anyways. What was his popular show there that he had? Where they were all like Hollywood people?
Entourage, yes.
Entourage.
Entourage is what made him super famous. Before that, he was in the Ellen Show, and he was fairly famous from that. But I'm going to show you a before and after picture of Jeremy Piven from when he was on the Ellen Show and at the beginning of Entourage. And then after, when Entourage finished and he started to have money. Before Entourage, after Entourage. Right?
Huh.
If Jeremy Piven can do it, what is stopping John Cena? John Cena has more money than Jeremy Piven. John Cena's been in bigger projects than Jeremy Piven. So what is stopping John Cena from doing it? Because if I get made fun of and embarrassed sometimes for being called fat, I'm not like as big of a star in any way, shape, or form as John Cena, right? John Cena has the ability to pay some money and get that bald spot fixed. So why hasn't he?
I don't know. Maybe it's more along the lines of because he wants people to, maybe it's his whole thing, right? Never give up, blah 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 blah, all that kind of stuff. So maybe he just doesn't want to show people, hey, you have to change who you are. To you know what I mean? Don't give in to the bullying or whatever have you. So if anything, it's gonna force him not to want to do anything more, so that he can in fact showcase to his,
then he needs to make a statement about it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
If he wants it to be his big thing there, oh, look at that. I suspicion that there's a person on this stream right now who
There might be.
is part of that, but our first box using our code going out to someone. Ooh, I just opened my next pack, and I gotta tell you, someone on this stream is gonna be a little jealous. It's actually even a
Do I need to switch
more
over
rare
and look at you?
So first off, I've already got that one before Daniel Garcia. That's going to be a dupe. I'm pretty sure I already have this one, Riho, so that's going to be a dupe. I don't think I've got the main feature of Luchasaurus. The blue main feature. I don't think I've got the gold acclaimed yet.
Nice.
But one I know I don't have is the special red variant, red velvet, with a piece of the mat, I think that is.
Oh shit! Nice.
No, that's a piece of red velvet's outfit. Ring-worn outfit.
It's sad for me. I'm jealous.
Number 24 of 50.
Did you sniff it?
I did not. And I will not on air.
On here.
What was that? I'm sorry. I don't know. What was going on? I don't know.
I don't know. Bad connection.
Yeah. Something going on here. Anyways. We had Darby Allin win the AEW TNT title from the King of Television, Mojo.
Moa Joe. Yo.
Mojo.
So that's cool. He won it in his hometown. I don't know if he's actually from
Seattle,
Washington.
Well, they did say it was his
from-
hometown, though. So
He called
he's
it
from
his hometown.
Washington.
He's from the area. Whether it's his
Yeah.
hometown, I don't know.
Yeah, that-
Again,
don't know.
we point out that wrestlers love to claim a hometown that's not actually where they're from. Like he's billed as from Seattle, Washington. He was born in Seattle, Washington, right? Okay. A very well-known current professional wrestler, Seth Rollins, claims Davenport, Iowa as his build from. He was born in Davenport, Iowa, but he was actually raised in a small town near Davenport called Buffalo, Iowa. Population 1,176 in 2020. So, he was probably only born in Davenport, Iowa, because that's where the regional hospital is for the area.
That's fair.
Just like
I
I can claim to be born in a city that I lived in for 3 years when I was a baby. Not even that. Less than a year. Less than 1 year. My brother lived there for 3 years. But I'm not from that city by any stretch of the imagination. But anyway, so Darby Allin won that. So he also then brought out the black belt that he wore. So they're continuing the tradition that champions have their own belt.
Oh,
Versus
I
there
didn't
being
notice
a
that.
similar
That's
belt.
cool.
Because the belt, which is weird because they didn't continue it with Samoa Joe.
Right.
But you know how when Scorpio Sky had it, it had the Lakers colors. When Brody Lee had it, it was the red belt. When Sammy Guevara got it, he had the black belt with all of the bling. That's the belt that Samoa Joe kept.
Right.
And Wardlow kept. But Darby came back out with the black belt without the bling. So, I personally prefer it with the bling, but, you know, to each his own.
That's it. Well, and it's also another way just to use, because I'm obviously when they made the other ones, they, I would imagine that in that case, they just made entirely new belts. They didn't just, or I mean, I guess they could have taken out the side plates and the bling part, but probably not. So they probably just had that lying around. Oh, okay, here, Darby, you can have your belt back, kind of thing.
I bet you it's more the opposite. I bet you Darby had it, and Darby wanted to. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Most of the time, when wrestlers win belts, they get a copy of it to keep, so they can put it on their mantle. It's often not the same high-end copy that they use on screen.
Right.
But it's also not the foam back ones that.
Trying to see if they even have the belts still up on shopaew.com. Memorabilia, maybe? The interesting thing that I want to point out is the official belt belt replicas for the TNT title that you could order are shipping soon, but they're the bling version of the belt is what they had up for order. They do not currently have them, it looks like. But
well, we shall see. But I imagine, in reality, you're not just going to get the belt to get the belt. You get the belt, you get that belt because you like the bling style. If you're like, oh, but I really want Darby's, I'll still buy this belt anyways. I would imagine then, obviously, you'll wait until they come out with another version with the actual Darby black belt.
It is a thing that I can criticize AEW on is they are slow to release belts.
Yeah.
It took them over 2 years of having the TNT title before they had a version that you could buy. It took them over 3 years before they had a copy of the tag belts you could buy. It took them 2 years before they had a legitimate copy of the world title that you could buy. Now, reportedly, they are very high quality versions, so it seems they used that time to get as high a quality versions as they can. But it kind of would be nice to get them a little bit faster. Or what would be really great is if AEW were to go the WWE route and get some memorial belts, right? Like the Macho Man belt or the Undertaker belt or whatever, right? It would be nice if they had something like that. You know what I mean? A Chris Jericho belt. That is Chris Jericho, a version of a championship belt that's designed around Chris Jericho.
And the closest they have to that is Brody Lee's belt, which is pretty much mostly Brody Lee.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they have a version that you could ever buy.
No.
And that's what I would like for them to do.
Gotcha. Well, you should make a phone call. I mean, they're a little busy with the playoffs right now.
Yeah, the Jags made it to the playoffs. The Texans managed to play themselves out of the number 1 draft pick.
Oh, they ended up winning some games at the end?
Just one. All they needed to do was lose their final game, and they would have had the number 1. Now they have the number 2. It's not like they,
and if they're smart, because their team desperately needs lots of players, they'll trade that number 1 draft or that number 2 draft pick for several third rounders.
I don't think they have to worry about that. We're gonna take a side thing to the NFL for a bit here. But if I'm correct, the Texans prior to this, already had 2 first-round draft picks this year.
They still have. So this one's just a different position. This is their natural one.
And then 2 other ones that they got from
From
the Browns, I think. So they're going to have the 2nd draft pick, the 12th draft pick. Looks like they must have traded one away last time. I thought they had a 3rd one. So they already have 2 first-round draft picks. The 1st and the 12th.
2nd and 12th.
2nd and 12th, excuse me. But let me see if I can.
Best of luck not drafting a 3rd car.
Hey, fucking Derek Carr lit it up for almost 10 years. And the Texans didn't draft him, much to my chagrin, because he would have been better than every quarterback the Texans have had since then.
They did draft David Carr, though, correct?
Yes. And then put him behind a offensive line that was leakier than the Titanic. It's hard to expect much out of a quarterback when they're looking through their ear hole all the time.
All right. But enough about that. Any other major wrestling news you guys are feeling right now? You want to talk Alexa? You want to talk...
Well, we sort of talked about
Alexa in the last...
one. 11 total draft picks in the draft.
7 rounds. That's a pretty decent draft setup.
Yeah, I don't think they need so many more picks. They need quality picks. They need a quarterback. So that second or 12th pick will likely go to quarterback. It's too bad you can't draft
USC's
coaches
quarterback.
because...
Say hello to USC's quarterback then, bud.
Yeah, too bad you can't draft a quality coach. Because they need one.
And the NFL does also do trades as well, correct? Like NHL does.
Yes,
Or not really.
but there's also restrictions on when they can do trades. There's a trade
yeah.
deadline every year. They can't do trades after.
There is talk of Jim Harbaugh going back to the NFL. Probably for Carolina.
Fuck it. At this point, as a Texans fan, I'd take Pelini.
That wouldn't be a bad move at all. That was a pretty good coach.
But anyways, I'm like I said on the fantasy booking, I personally am not a fan of having Alexa associated with The Fiend or Bray Wyatt, whatever the new thing is. However, I'm happy they're using her, and I'm happy they're allowing her to not be just a punching bag. So, I'm torn.
Right.
But
Nothing's right, you're torn. You're all out of things.
Ready late.
fun fact: a lot of people don't know this. You know that's a cover.
No, I did not.
Yeah, I did not know
Natalie
that was a
Imbruglia's
cover.
version of that was not the original version. The original version was by a band called Edna Swap.
Oh, snap.
And it's a lot more 90s rock, alt rock.
Oh, and she covered it a song from the 90s?
Well, I mean, it was in the late 90s when she did it, but yeah.
No, but I mean the cover she did it from.
Yes, it was only... her version was only a few years after the original version.
Oh, well. Okay.
We've gone rogue.
We have... The original version was 1995 when they did it, and... actually, their version was a cover, too.
Huh.
The first version was in 1993 by a Danish singer named Lise Sorensen. It was written by Scott Cutler from Edna Swap. Then she performed it in 93, and then they decided to perform it in 94. And then Natalie Imbruglia did it in 97.
And made it popular.
And made it popular, yes.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Edna Swap did write it, you said, so at least she still got the benefits from it. So that's dope.
And the Swap was a group.
Yeah, Edna Swap wrote it. Natalie Imbruglia made it famous. Natalie Imbruglia, importantly, was my late 90s pop crush. So I'm fine with her getting famous because of it.
You have a thing
That's
for
fair.
short hair, don't you?
I do. I do indeed.
And not a lot of makeup, I would think.
Huge eyes. Oh, anyways.
Oh, you're an eye
another
person. Okay.
Another Jake Hager. I know I've had that one before. Another Nyla Rose. I also know I've had that one before. This is a whole bunch of I know I've got Arn Anderson.
It's okay. One of our subscribers from Twitch will be really happy.
I know I got Ty Conti.
Don't put that one in your Twitch thing. I want that one. For reasons.
I'm pretty sure I just got the Acclaimed in a previous package, so I don't think I have a main features Kenny Omega World Champion.
No,
But it's
I
a
don't
blue,
remember seeing that
standard
one.
blue.
Nice.
I don't think I have a gold MJF yet, so
Okay, yeah, maybe not a gold one, but I feel like you have one in that pose.
I definitely have a silver MJF, but not a gold one. And I definitely did not have a prismatic
hollow, yeah.
hollow Jamie Hayter. Although
You
I
have
do have
three
a
of her
Jamie
now.
Hayter. Yeah, I have the regular one. I have the one with
The ass
The-
canvas.
ass canvas, and then I now have the prismatic one.
There you go. Nice.
That's your set.
Yes, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else that happened on Dynamite. Dynamite's got a new set. I want to talk about that.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
New, beautiful, gorgeous set with at least 5 screens. I think it's actually 7 screens. I think there are 2 screens that are kind of hidden behind that you don't see on TV as easily, but you
Right.
see on
To create an
on-
effect of
Yeah,
it being a bigger Tron and all that. And one
But-
entrance now. No longer
yeah.
two
One entrance.
entrances.
Although I think they can come in from either side, because
Oh,
it's kind of like
okay.
WWE where it's got a screen behind, and then they walk out in front of it, right? And I think they can walk out on either side. So I think they still.
Okay.
I tried to watch on Dynamite and I couldn't really tell if they were doing either side or not. I'll try to watch
Right.
this week to be certain. But it looks sweet. A really nice feature of it that I like that might go unnoticed by a lot of people though, because it's just kind of a behind the scenes feature that can be really good. Because it's got like 5 main front facing screens that you can see. And they all operate independently of each other. They're not all displaying the exact same thing. They can display things. It means that they can update graphics for a person on the fly without having to update all of the screens, right? So, if someone wins the world title, their production team doesn't have to have a whole separate set of graphics for them as world champion. They can just have a world champion graphic that fills this screen. You know what I mean? So it gives them a lot of flexibility for that. Or if they want to have someone interrupt someone as they're walking down the ramp, they can have them show up on one of the screens without interrupting all of them. There's a lot of fun things they can do. I think that's really, really cool.
It's cool.
It also is an LED screen the entire way down the ramp,
Right.
which is something WWE has done for a long time. I don't know if they've done it on their.
I feel like it's for their pay-per-views though.
It's mostly for their pay-per-views, not for their regular TV. But it's still a cool thing for them to do. So I really do like
Did you
that.
notice anything different about the ring? No. Right?
I don't think the ring was any different. They might have updated the graphics for the skirts, but I don't think so. I think the skirts were the same.
Okay.
I think it was mostly the ramp. But I do think it was a good time to do that, considering today, or actually yesterday now for all of us, was the 4-year anniversary of their first press conference announcing AEW officially.
Jesus, 4 years already. God damn.
So a refresh after 4 years makes a lot of sense to me. Refresh things up, make it look a little fresh and nice. I really did like it. I liked it a lot. I also point out the announcers, the commentators desk has been
Also had
refreshed and a
screens
lot
in front of
nicer
them
looking.
too. Yep.
It looks a lot because I got to be honest, the old announce desk looked. I know it wasn't this, but it kind of looked like they just set up a folding table and put some announcers behind it and put some monitors on it, and then that was it. And now it looks like a real announce table to me, so I'm excited about that.
I'm not a folding table. I'm a real announce table.
No, yeah, it was cool. It's definitely looks more modern, obviously, than I feel like the other one. I guess maybe that the two entrances might be a little hidden. But yeah, no, it's cool. It's fine. I really like the LED ramp though. That was pretty badass.
We had Ricky Starks versus Chris Jericho. Ricky Starks getting his win against Jericho.
Are we doing a Jericho losing streak?
I think they have been. I think they started it with that Action Andretti loss. I think they're telling a storyline of Jericho needs to get his mojo back. And maybe, like right now, he's been blaming it on the other people in the Jericho Appreciation Society. And so I think that's going to be the storyline that they tell.
That's it. The fall of the JAS.
We had a true Dusty finish for the Acclaimed versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal on Dynamite. To clarify for anyone who isn't familiar with the phrase Dusty finish. Dusty finish was pioneered by Dusty Rhodes. Finish where you have the match finish, a championship changes hands often, someone's declared a victor, and then a referee runs out and explains that for some reason or other the match shouldn't have ended that way, and they restart the match, and then the other people end up winning. In this case, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal appeared to win the match after Bowens had his foot on the ropes and Sanjay Dutt on the outside pushed his foot off, and the ref didn't see that the foot had been on the ropes, so he counted the 1, 2, 3 for the pin. And then Aubrey Edwards got to come running out and explain, no, his foot was on the ropes and Sanjay Dutt pushed it off, and so then they reversed it and they restarted the match, and then the Acclaimed were able to win to retain. So a true Dusty finish, and that's rare in AEW. So that was interesting to see.
Which I'm all down for the Acclaim to retain. Like,
Yes.
trust me, I don't want Jarrett to be having a title any year or century or ever again. But I mean, I hate when that kind of stuff happens, the Dusty finish, if you will. Just because then why don't you do it in other matches when Pac uses a hammer or, like, it's just kind of like, okay, why do you suddenly have this little epiphany? We're like, oh no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, why don't other referees do that for other matches? You know?
Unfortunately, that's going to be one of those things that is always going to be an inconsistency in wrestling.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, I would love to see them institute a instant replay rule in professional wrestling, but they're never going to do it because it removes the ability for the heels to cheat to win.
Right.
at least removes it for them to visibly cheat to win, right? Because as long as you have the camera showing them cheat, then the question is, well, why doesn't that show on the instant replay? And so for this, what you almost have to do is, I don't even know, have a storyline where, you know, you tell a story backstage where Aubrey Edwards says, listen, I'm keeping my eye on this match, right? I know Sanjay Dutt likes to interfere, so I'm going to keep my eye on it. And then when he interferes, she runs down. Whereas on other matches, they don't specifically say they're watching. So I don't know. I don't know if there's an easy way to do it. So there's always going to be a bit of inconsistency on it. But they did then continue the storyline, though, on Rampage because Jarrett and Lethal
They
got
had a no holds barred match.
Another shot at a no holds barred match. And the finish for that, Sanjay Dutt took the shirt off of Bryce Remsburg, the referee who had been knocked out, and went in to count the pin. And Aubrey Edwards ran out and stopped him from counting the pin there and berated him for being a fake referee, and then was able to count the pin for the Acclaim winning that one. So they're telling an Aubrey Edwards versus Sanjay Dutt story, apparently.
Which I'm down for. I love Aubrey, so I think Aubrey is awesome. And the fact that she got maybe like a wrestling match, that'd be kind of interesting, but
maybe. I'm trying to, in relation to this, I'm trying to figure out how much of the Twitter debate with the Karen Jarrett situation is entirely storyline and how much of it is potentially real. Max Caster last week delivered a rap that made mention of Jarrett stealing Angle's wife, Kurt Angle's wife. Karen Jarrett, Kurt Angle's ex-wife, then went on Twitter and in no uncertain terms says, Jeff Jarrett didn't steal me, and implied that Kurt Angle had been unfaithful on her for a long time prior to that. Jeff Jarrett then in interviews and on his podcast kind of made the same sort of thing. But then Max Caster did another rap citing Karen Jarrett's Twitter thing about it. So I'm trying to figure out how much of this was pre-planned, whether Karen Jarrett was involved in the pre-planning in the first place, or whether there might be legitimate heat between
I think it's
Jeff
legitimate.
Karen Jarrett and the Acclaimed. It might be.
I mean, if it wasn't, I don't think you would have had Karen Jarrett then like call out Kelly and Dawn Marie and all that. You know what I mean? If that tweet wasn't there,
very valid
maybe.
Point to it. Yes. That being said, Jeff Jarrett's part of the backstage creative department in AEW.
No, isn't he just for like live shows though?
Well, yeah, but live shows includes having not a full say, but a say in what goes on at the shows, right? Like TK is
but it's like house
top
shows. No,
well, it still does. But they don't do house shows. So, what's he doing right now? Live events. These are live events.
That's fair. Okay.
But on top of it, it simply comes down to TK's the booker. He's the one who makes the decision. But do I really think Max Caster didn't go to Jeff Jarrett and say, "Hey, I'm gonna say something about your ex-wife or your wife on this. Is that okay?" I feel like he did, and that Jeff Jarrett said, "Hey, this will be a great chance for me to address it on my podcast and say it's been almost 20 years. You know, I'm tired of this narrative that he's
that I'm sure Jeff
wife.
Knows. I don't think Karen knew.
Yeah, it's a little bit it's definitely blending the lines. I'll just say that much.
That's fair.
We had
The
Swerve
fair
versus
play.
AR Fox. That's a match that I
Freaking
always love to see.
Match of the week potential of this week. That match was fire.
I'm gonna point out Swerve and AR Fox were both in Lucha Underground, and they had a feud there. That was one of my favorite feuds in Lucha Underground. So
Okay.
I always love to see this.
Explains the great chemistry they had with each other then. Yeah, nice.
They
Do we know who his partner is, by the way? Not the Brock Lesnar wannabe.
They have not named him yet. No. The tattooed
Do
guy
we
with the
know him though? Like, has he been anywhere else?
I think someone made a report he was an indie wrestler, not anywhere else, like maybe even still in training sort of a thing, but
Oh wow, okay.
We also found out that I was right about who the partner is going to be.
I have not given that yet.
I know.
Yeah.
I still
Why make it into a storyline with frickin' her Kirishita being all mad about it though?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
It ain't Sasha.
I think money talks.
I think the story is going to happen on Wednesday. I think Hikaru Shida is going to take out Tony Storm at the beginning of the show, and Saraya is going to have a new partner, and then it's going to be Mercedes. That's what I think is going to happen.
Mercedes Vernado. Mercedes Monet.
Monet, yes. I think they technically pronounce it money. I think it's an accent grave, not an accent aigu. Accent aigu goes accent grave goes e. So I think it's Mercedes money. I think, technically. Anyways, but yeah, let's see. Fightful identified the man as Grandin Getzman, a former baseball player who was a second-round pick by the Tampa Bay Rays in 2011. He'd been working MLB minor league system through 2019. His debut had been planned out for the last couple weeks, and he'd been training at Jay Lethal School.
Huh.
But that's what I said. Is I think it had turned out that it was a guy who was still in training, not a wrestler that anyone knew.
Okay.
Which also makes sense that they haven't had him actually wrestle. He's just like muscle right now.
As long as they don't have Rick Ross there again. Like I'm so grateful that
I'm fine with Rick Ross coming back, man. He's money on the mic.
Oh Jesus! No, I don't mind him on the mic. It's just when he does these like random convos while a match is happening or like while they're fighting. I'm just kind of like hilarious, but it kind of takes away from the actual fighting and wrestling. Makes it less serious, so therefore it takes away from the story.
They are definitely setting up this person to be the next challenger for Jade Cargill's TBS title.
No.
So, am excited for that.
Will she be the one to take it off her, though?
Possibly. Frankly, I think it depends on how many more matches they're able to get Jade Cargill before they have them fight. Because her match this week put her at 48-0. So if they could get two more matches,
at 50,
50-0, then I can see them having Red Velvet beat her.
Yeah, because Jade needs to go on and do something else or go on for the world or something because it's getting stale, unfortunately.
Stu Grayson? I'm sure I already have that one.
Grayson.
Pretty sure I have the Varsity Blondes. In fact, 90% sure. Fairly certain I have this Hikaru Shida.
Hikaru Shida.
Who's not the number one wrestler compared to Tony Storm, according to Saraya.
According to Saraya, no. Bryce Remsburg. I don't know if I had that referee one. Send Hook.
Nice. Hooktacular.
Main features Dax Harwood, the blue version. A gold Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, that's also news as well. Kyle O'Reilly did give us all an update on his injuries, and he should be back sometime soon. No time frame, but reportedly something did cause O'Reilly to have a little bit more of a setback post surgery rather, which he will not disclose at the moment. But he does explain that he's actually doing pretty good. He has type 1 diabetes, and he's finally getting that under control with his nutritionist.
Yes.
So good luck with everything with Kyle O'Reilly, and I hope we see him sooner rather than later, because he's with AEW for like 5 years. So
Yeah.
Also, on
Yeah.
that same front, Bobby Fish still doesn't have a contract with a major.
Yes. The way he's been acting, I'm fine with that. Listen. There aren't too many more bigger Red Dragon fans than me. I love Red Dragon, but man, he's been a little shit, hasn't he?
He's just, yeah.
he has a
Here-
podcast now, though, right?
I'm sure. I mean, this is gonna sound really funny for me to say, but fucking who doesn't have a podcast?
That's
Like
You,
have to, so-
you good sir, you have yourself a point. You have a podcast. Fabe has a podcast. I have a podcast.
I just have one.
It's true.
You
I know.
both have
But that's why I said and not podcasts. I didn't make it plural.
here's potentially a big win for whoever
Hey.
wins the doubles, because this is a
Nice.
double of an Upper Deck canvas card.
Oh,
Nice.
So whoever wins the doubles gets at least one Upper Deck canvas card
10
out.
new follows or subscribes on Twitch.
Subscribes.
10 new subscribes on Twitch.
But you do not have to be one of those subscribers to be entered to win. However, if we don't get those 10 new subscribers,
Nobody wins.
nobody wins.
Damn. And I wasted my Prime subscription this month. Son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
I know.
Anyways,
I'm gonna do one anyways, but
worth pointing out right now, since it's scrolling across the bottom and I'm required to say it a certain number of times, make sure to use my link or go to go.factor75.com and use the code FACTOR SE13652 for 60% off your first box of Factor foods. We went over it before earlier. Code's also up there above my head.
And down
Great
there.
way for some
pick your
great
plan,
stuff. Yeah.
eliminate zucchini, and enjoy your food.
Yeah,
Eliminate zucchini is just a
I'm going to go for that chicken parm, baby. Give me some of that chicken parm.
Okay. Got 3 more
There's so
packs
many
to
rice
open, so
options. I'm a rice lover. I can't wait
rice
for that.
cauliflower.
yeah, cauliflower rice is one of them, which is not actually rice, but that's a different
make
thing
a
altogether. I
mean
love me some
stir-fry
rice.
rice cauliflower at home. Oh. Which is the only way I've ever made it that I liked it.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Oh. He gave us a physical book of his book of Hobbs.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Andrade El
It's
Idolo.
a Hobsonian.
when the hell is he coming back? Flair's back finally.
Probably when he stops talking smack about the boss and plays ball.
Is he still talking smack about the boss?
Yeah. Well.
Oh
and
shit.
Also, he's made it fairly clear that he wants
He's begging
back.
to get fired. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wants to be fired so he can go back to WWE. Although I don't know if he wants to quite so much now. But
Listen,
Hey,
he's
Alex
only part of the
Reynolds?
sale. All right.
yeah, supposedly.
Shh.
Fellow Dark Order member
It.
Evil Uno. Reach for the sky.
Hey.
debut day for Adam Cole, baby.
God, that was a wonderful debut that night.
That was a great pay-per-view.
Because
in general,
it
too.
also featured the debut of Bryan
Nice.
Danielson.
Same night.
Was that a debut
Same
card
night.
as well?
No, this isn't a debut card, but it's a gold card, and it was back-to-back with the other one. And then, I really like this one. It is a green variant hollow Max Caster.
Yo, listen.
Listen, that's a great card.
But, so, David Bixenspan, who's a pro wrestling commentator, columnist, freelance, online, had a question today that I think I've covered before on this podcast, but always fun to talk about. His question he had is, what is your pro wrestling legend that you just can't seem to get? Like, just does not compute for you.
On why he's a legend or is in the Hall of Fame?
Just you
something
just
like
never you never got behind him, right?
that? Okay.
Ooh, I got a hot take here.
So let me get to the exact tweet.
I'm coming on the screen.
Coming on the screen? What? Anyways, I commented and I said I'm probably gonna get hate for this. Was it David Mixon? But for me, it's Undertaker. I could never get behind him. He's just not my thing. And I understand why people like him, but I just can't. He's not my thing.
I might have a hotter take than that.
Someone's take was Ric Flair.
Whew.
I understand
pretty hot take.
that, though, on their behalf, though.
I mean, if he
It
was
wasn't Dixon's man. It was someone else. Anyways, the Doc Chris Mueller, who's a legendary and popular pro wrestler you just never connected to as a fan, said, I'll start Ric Flair. Never thought he was entertaining or interesting even before the accusations. I know why people think he was great, but I never cared. Nothing about him appealed to me.
That's
And I said,
hilarious.
For me,
A guy writes. I'm sorry. I just found a
for
funny
me,
tweet.
it was Undertaker. But I understand. I just can't. Whatever. What's your hot take?
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, man.
That is a
I
hot take.
struggled through that era. I really did struggle through that era. I did not understand. For the life
Even
of
through
me
Austin Vince, you weren't a fan of that?
why The Rock was not the premium guy 100% of the time. It stems from me being a Rock fan. The struggle for me was, well, dude, if this guy's causing this much chaos in your company, you just fucking fire him.
Right. I mean, I remember thinking about that as well. Absolutely.
Joke's on you. Vince McMahon did fire him multiple times. He just showed up. But no, I get it. Now, I'll be honest that was during my time when I was still a pretty heavy WCW mark. And so, I tuned over to WWF at the time for The Rock, because I was also a Rock fan. But yeah,
Right.
Stone Cold wasn't in my list. I understand him now, but at the time I didn't.
Yeah, I get it now. But at the time, I was just like, why? Like, just get rid of him, guys.
So JLB, who's your legendary pro wrestler?
It's not going to be as much of a hot take, but for me, Kane.
I don't blame you there either. He was on my
I
list.
mean,
Kane is up there as well for me for mostly
And-
for his association with Undertaker.
I do also have Goldberg, obviously. I mean, Goldberg should be,
No, I got that at the time. I understood that.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
now.
didn't care for it.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't understand the booking in 2002 or 2004 WWE. But in 1998, I got it. I understood it.
It was so. I understood it until like 20. Until the streak hit like 20. And then I was just fucking over it. And I'm like, okay, this is silly, stupid. And then it just kept going and going and going. And he just never did anything else, I feel like, until he hit like 80. And I was just like, after that, then he finally got into matches, into storylines, and so on and so forth. But it was too much. It was just too much. Is that a perfect
Sean
10?
Spears. Yep.
Nice.
Now, if I wanted to give a hot take today, I don't understand the chair shot and the chairman, Sean Spears, getting dropped the way it did.
You know, his
Cody
his
didn't
character.
bleed like a fucking stuck pig for no reason.
Yeah. I think for some reason or other, the Sean Spears character, I don't know what it is, I can't put my finger on it, but it didn't click with the audiences. And they should have pivoted away. And I think maybe it was the stupid, like, hood that he wore that was like a hooded sweatshirt without the sweatshirt part. It was just like the hood.
I think it's just him. I think he just lacks a certain type of charisma and he's very generic. Because I was thinking it was a WWE issue. Okay? I was like, oh, he left WWE, he's gonna be in AEW. Oh, we're finally gonna get to really see him go. No,
The thing is,
same exact fucking problem.
I don't think you can blame it on charisma because he got over in WWE based entirely on charisma because he didn't ever get a chance to showcase himself in the ring, right? But that 10 gimmick,
Right.
perfect 10, he was able to get that over. And so he comes over. Frankly, I think part of it was him trying to separate himself from the perfect 10 gimmick too much, maybe. But also, like I said, it's the stupid, like, his entrance is all, like, kind of stupid, and he wears that stupid, again, it's like a hooded sweatshirt without the sweatshirt part, it's just the hood, and that looks silly. There are lots of things, and I think if he reworks his gimmick entirely, maybe goes away from the mohawk and does something else entirely, I don't know. Something could happen, but I got the bunny.
Oh, that's a bad bunny.
No, Bad Bunny's in WWE.
Yeah. Possibly in the Royal Rumble.
Possibly.
Chicago made.
Likely in the
Who? Oh,
Chick Magnet.
Chick Magnet.
Serena Deeb.
Hey, I haven't seen her in a hot minute.
I think she lost the Ring of Honor Championship to
Raquel?
uh,
Is it Raquel?
Mercedes.
Raquel?
Mercedes Martinez, not
Fuck yeah, that's
Raquel. And I
That's what
don't know
fucked
if
me
she
over
was
the last time
injured
we
or if
played
she
that
just
game.
decided to do stuff backstage for a while. I got a Cash Wheeler main feature.
hey, nice.
I got a gold Daniel Garcia.
Ah, nice. Can't wait for that match to happen. Daniel Garcia versus Sammy. Let's fucking go. Oh, Twitch. Any Twitch subscriber can get this one. You don't even need to subscribe. We'll just give it away.
Yeah. I honestly do think that might be a double already.
Yes, it was earlier tonight.
Well, but that's a prismatic Jake Hager. And that I think I got a prismatic one on Tuesday. Okay, my last pack. of this box. Interesting. Okay. Starting off, Jurassic Express.
Who? Those guys don't exist anymore.
Hey,
EW.
Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Whoop, whoop.
Ruby, 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 Soho.
Soho.
Ruby, Soho. I'm singing that like Taz sings it. All Ego Ethan Page.
Hey, fellow Canadian.
He now lives in Detroit. All the places he could have
Still a
moved
fellow
to.
Canadian.
Fucking Detroit.
Well, I want to know why it's right by where he lives. He's just across the pond.
I don't give a fuck. It's Detroit.
Not
Have you ever
the
been to
pond,
Detroit?
the lake. I have not. I would like
It's a
to go.
shithole.
Just, I know. I imagine it is. What's
I've
more of a
been to
shithole,
Detroit
Detroit or
twice.
Philadelphia?
Never been to
Detroit,
Philadelphia, so I can't say for certain, but I'm 99% certain it's
It's
Detroit. Detroit. I've been to Detroit twice, and each time I said I'm never coming back.
Simply put, there's about a 6-hour drive that you can take from the United States through Canada and back into the United States. During said time, you are given Ottawa from Canada, and we give, in return, Buffalo and Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got the shit part of the deal. We've told you not
We
to
really
come to our
did.
country by having
Yeah.
those two cities.
I
on the
went
border.
to Detroit, and then I went
I
across.
mean, Ottawa's pretty fucking boring, though.
I went across the lake to
It's pretty
fucking Windsor, Canada, and I had more fun in Windsor, Canada, than I did
believe
in
you.
Detroit.
I would believe
Windsor
you.
gave me donuts.
Is Flint still having issues with water?
4 years, bud. 4 years.
It's still a thing? Fuck,
Yep.
they haven't fixed it. God damn
Main
it.
features Sammy Guevara.
Now that one's
Hey.
one I can get behind.
Mm,
Not in a dirty way.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
maybe in a dirty way.
If
Good looking guy. A gold Bryce Remsburg.
oh Jesus. All right.
And then making up for my duplicate
Ty Conti
canvas,
can get behind.
a canvas Brian Danielson beaten up on.
Where's the canvas on this one?
This is the upper deck canvas, so they've got a canvas feel to them. They don't. This isn't the. It's confusing. It isn't the same thing as the canvas ones that have a piece of canvas on them. Upper deck.
Okay,
canvas
but that's
ones,
not an actual printed
No.
on from the canvas.
The
from
ones that say
show or
UD canvas, they've got a canvas texture to the paper.
Okay.
It's a weird thing. I understand, but there's two different types of canvas. There's the ones that
That
have
would be cool
actual canvas. But there's the
if
ones
they
that are
could take
just
the canvas and like print on it. But that would be like a really expensive card.
yeah, it probably would be pretty expensive. You're right.
For sure. Get these cards for $24.99. Not likely if you want a printed canvas card. More like $600, maybe.
So I
But
was
it
watching
wouldn't taste
Simon Miller did a video on the 10 people that he expected to see in the Royal Rumble. And I'm fairly certain that this video was recorded like at least a few weeks ago. Because he predicted for Becky Lynch to win the Women's Royal Rumble so she could go off and face Ronda Rousey, the champion.
Oh, snap.
I'm like,
Well, I mean, maybe Ronda could still technically win it at the Rumble back. So
she could potentially win it at the Rumble back, but
I think I agree with Cornette this time around, though. He did mention that Ronda Rousey's time experiment he had mentioned with Ronda Rousey is done, and she should probably bounce. Don't agree with the whole she went to go have kids and raise goats comment. That's very chauvinistic and very Cornette-like. But I do agree that after this Mania, because obviously they're going to keep her until Mania, hopefully her contract ends up and that's it, man. Like,
I think her contract's a little bit longer than that, but
If she leaves after this Mania, then we need the Shayna versus her match to put Shayna over and have
Oh, that's
physically
fair. Yes.
tap out to Shayna Baszler on her way out.
That would be epic. Yes. That would
A
put
career
Shayna on such a
versus
high
title
pedestal.
type thing.
But she doesn't have the title, unfortunately. Which she could win it at
Shayna should have
Rumble.
the title. Shayna should have the title.
No, but I mean, Ronda doesn't have the
Ronda
title.
should put her career on the line for the title.
Oh, dirty. Me likey. Yeah. I'm down with that. Then do that. Book it, Trips. You are currently still head of creative. I'm putting it in quotations. Head of creative.
According to Essentially Sports, Ronda Rousey's signed a multi-year contract in 2022.
Oh, damn. Okay.
She makes almost $2.1 million a year.
Fuck.
So now,
does she have? Is she a full timer though? No, she's obviously not a full timer. So does she have like certain amount dates on her?
Oh, I'm sure she does, but how many I don't know. But
no, that's fair. But it's fucked because on her streams and stuff like that, she's entertaining, ish. You know, like more so entertaining than whatever the fuck she does at the roster.
Just her fucking commercial for the video game that she's in.
I think what it comes down to is I don't think she actually loves the art of professional wrestling. And I think earlier we talked about a certain someone who has a big ego involved in professional wrestling. I think Ronda Rousey has an ego problem with professional wrestling. And her ego is bigger than her talent for professional wrestling.
That's fair.
So,
speaking of ego in professional wrestling, I know we already talked about Mercedes Moné, but
yeah,
but she had a big one, justifiably so.
Yeah, the thing is, she backed up her ego with 40,000 new streams too.
I would disagree with her. I don't think she has the draw that Becky Lynch does. I do think she has a bigger draw than WWE offered her.
I think
I'd agree with that.
I think in WWE she was hamstrung on how much of a draw she could ever have. We've mentioned before, in fact it was the running joke with her that they never let her successfully defend the belt. They would let her win a belt and then immediately have her lose it in her first title defense. Right?
Right.
And I think that
she's gone on to do crazy matches, though, which Charlotte...
She has, but she still has only once gone past that first title defense with a victory. Only once in her entire WWE career did she have more than one victorious title defense. Right? Now, she did have multiples in that run. It wasn't just one and then she lost in the next one. She did have multiples. But it was only one of her title runs did she have any successful defenses. And that hamstrung her with the fans, I think. Whereas instead, you then have Becky Lynch, who, yes, is currently a bigger draw, but also was presented from a relatively early time as a bigger draw. And then when she won her first title, was then allowed to have successful title defenses of it. And that, in the eyes of the fans, does mean something.
So I mean, I can see that.
So you hamstrung someone with always losing their title defenses, that's always going to impact their eventual draw capabilities. An example.
Yeah, but she was still a merch draw. Fans still
Thi-
loved her. Cousin
Yeah,
of
but this
Snoop, like, she was
I'm
still pretty
specifically saying
popular.
from a standpoint of comparing her to Becky Lynch, right? DFA mentioned that
I
he
only compare her to Becky Lynch because rumor has it that's
Yeah.
who she compared her to.
but that's my point. So I'm going to use an extreme example. If Ric Flair lost his first title defense every time, right? And instead, Ricky Steamboat continued to have successful defenses of titles, would we right now talk about Ric Flair as one of the greatest of all times in terms of in-ring work? And I think that would hamstring him in terms of talking about his draw and talking about
the first 4 of his 5 title reigns, of his first 4 of the 16 title reigns were 1-match title reigns.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a reasonable discussion.
And I'm just saying it hamstrings you if you're given a gimmick where you fucking lose every time the chips are down. In the eyes of the fans, that comes back to burn you. And
Yeah,
in the
but
long
I
run-
still think Sasha would be Hall of Fame worthy if, let's say, whatever, you know what I mean, regardless of those title reigns.
I'm not saying she's not. In fact, I'm saying that if they gave her those title reigns and had her get defenses, I do not think we would be arguing that she's not as big of a draw as Becky Lynch. If the tables were turned and Becky Lynch was the one who never got successful title defenses, and Sasha Banks got the successful long reigns, I think we would be talking about Sasha Banks as being this huge draw and Becky Lynch as, she's just not as big of a draw as Sasha Banks. I think those title reigns hurt Sasha Banks in the eyes of the draw. That's all I'm saying.
I humbly believe that Becky Lynch should send a portion of her check to Nia Jax every week.
Oh, God.
Breaking her nose.
No, normally I would say yes, but I don't want Nia Jax to get any extra money. So
That's a fair point.
I'm going to go with no.
That's a fair point.
But she doesn't get her nose broken, and that story doesn't sell nearly as well as it did.
No, exactly.
Well,
That's what made her
and
the
also
man.
the story of the man. But was it? That was the exact
No,
thing
the
that
man-
made her the man?
the
That's
man
where it
it
started?
started
The man was
before that,
after.
but-
It started
That
before
actually
that.
made her.
That's what made her the man. Without that, her gimmick of I'm the man plateaus here. With that, it plateaus up here.
That's
right?
where she goes to the moon, and Vince actually looks at her and goes, "You're as big of draw as Charlotte." When in fact, she's probably a bigger draw than Charlotte.
Yeah.
In fact, both
Or-
of those people are bigger draws than Charlotte.
Let's just use another
I agree with
part
that.
of it. Nia Jax breaks her nose, and instead of working the rest of the angle, Becky Lynch goes to the trainer and says, "Hey, man, my nose is broken. I don't think I can finish out the show." Right? Where does the man character land at that point? I think it flatlines.
Yeah.
I think Vince McMahon looks at it and goes, "Listen, you had a chance to show us what you're made of here, and instead you let a broken nose stop you."
I would say more than that, her standing at the top of the audience, holding her hand high,
Yeah, on
with
the ramp there.
blood all over her face.
Yeah. That's my point. The fact that she took that and continued on is the real thing that made the man gimmick skyrocket to the moon. And if she'd have... Now, here's the deal. She's smart enough to know this. Becky Lynch knew that if she let a broken nose derail that moment, that she would never recover from it. So instead of saying, oh, my nose is broken, let's go get that looked at, she said, oh, my nose is broken, well, I guess I'm going to have to finish the night with a broken nose.
Right. Kirk did it with a broken freaking neck.
Yeah. And in fairness, Sasha Banks never had the chance to do that.
Nose broken?
Well, she never
she
had
might
that
have.
chance to rise above. You know what I mean? She was never given that chance to.
Well,
showcase.
and she's not as good as a promo as Becky Lynch is. You know what I mean? I would argue even before Becky was the man.
I would agree with that. Big money characters tend to not deliver much of a promo other than big money.
Mm-hmm.
This is why Charlotte's promos actually kind of suck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one
her
thing
face,
I can say,
her face promos are pretty trash too, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, Charlotte.
I can say the Japanese promo format did not fit Mercedes Money very well.
I feel like she didn't even do the Japanese style. She just did a WWE promo.
Well, the Japanese style promo is if you're a gaijin, you deliver your phrase and then you have to wait for a moment as the translator translates what you said, and then you say your next thing, and then you wait for a moment as the translator translates that, and then you deliver your next thing, and you wait for a moment as the translator translates that, right? And she, that, I think, did not translate
Yeah, it was a
well
little
to
awkward.
her promo. You know, her promo struggled with that.
Still looked like a badass though.
I don't know. I didn't like the polka dot hair, but
It wasn't polka dot.
Wasn't
It took me
polka
a
dot,
while
it
to
was
figure it out.
flames.
It was flames burning the blue away.
oh,
That it took me a while to notice it too. I'll be the first to admit.
I'm the guy with
for-
vision problems here, and I noticed that right away.
Well, when I first saw it, I thought it was orange hair and then a splat from behind of blue.
I didn't know about the blue thing. It was burning the blue away. I knew it was a flame.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And then
but
it was
I didn't know
later.
the blue thing.
I saw it again and I was like, oh wait, no, that's flames burning the blue out of her hair. And the blue, of course, being
Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks. I don't think that's going to be a long-term hairstyle for her. In fact, frankly, I think it was probably a wig.
Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah, likely.
But,
For sure.
but it, for a one-time thing, I didn't hate it.
I don't think it's going to be a one-time thing, though. I think that might just be her wig that she comes out with.
No, I bet
You know what I mean?
I bet you by the February New Japan show, it's
It's going to
totally
be some other crazed design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I still think it's going to be a design style, though. It's not just going to be one color. I feel like you're going to have multiple colors. That's probably going to be your thing. I liked her outfit, though, what she came out with. Didn't like the botch that much, obviously. That was a really bad botch for only doing one move. Definitely should go on the botch along.
Yeah, well, in let's be real about it. If you're gonna come out after 6 months of not wrestling, that might not be the best time to try an entirely brand new move, right?
That's fair.
That's the time that you pull out the bank statement, right?
Right.
Or the backstabber. The backstabber's the best one to do, right? Come out, have her hug Kyrie, hold up Kyrie's hand. Kyrie turns to walk out. Backstabber. Then you stand
Done.
above her and you deliver your promo.
Nothing quite like a good back slapper.
Yeah,
Boy,
back
I cannot
slapper.
talk right. Back slapper.
Kari
Slapper.
sold that perfectly, though.
Black Slapper. Black. Oh, I'm going to stop talking.
Backstabber, Black Slopper.
Slap blacker. Nope, that doesn't work either.
Nope.
Slap Black.
Money Stab. Monet Stab. Money Bank Statement of Vernado.
But, well, anyways, we've done 2.5 hours of this.
Let's get the
I'm
fuck
going to
out.
say again, before we get to all the outro, down below, right there, use my link or go to go.factor75.com. Use the code FACTOR, SE13652 for 60% off your first box. Or, easier way, go on the Twitch page. There's a click the link there. And then it takes you there and you don't have to worry about entering the code. It just automatically applies it. But 60% off your first box, Factor. Great way to get all your things in order and get your shape going. Your shape and better. But on that note, let's go ahead and close out the wrestling booking unit. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you prefer. Although we would recommend you go to twitch.tv/Raw and Order WBU to subscribe there. Make sure if you're a Amazon Prime member, you click the subscribe button, use your free Amazon Prime subscription. That helps us out a ton there. Leave a comment on the, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below so it gets recommended to more people. A pleasant comment there. But otherwise, you can follow me on all of the social medias at Raw and Order WBU. That's Twitch, that's TikTok, that's Twitter, that's YouTube. The only place it isn't is Facebook, where it's at Pissant Podcastity. Pissant Podcast. Jeez, I'm Marvel Mouth now. It's time for me to be done. Podcastity.
Orange Cassidy's brother.
Yes.
Who pods a lot.
You can also follow D.A. Fabe at
D.A. Vincent K. Fabe.
Yep. Only on Twitch, though.
I will. Twitter.
On Twitter. Excuse me.
I will. Also, I'd like to thank all of the beautiful women in scantily clad outfits that recently opened accounts that have started following me on Twitter, and I will try to post more to appease all of those beautiful women that have scantily clad outfits with names like Dave that have started following.
That's the game that I play all the time when I get a new follower on Twitter. Is this a spam account? And I go, ooh. Ooh.
But what won't be spam is me, not Tuesday, but a week from Tuesday, opening and eating a Factor meal right here live.
Live?
Live?
On this podcast?
What? Better be the chicken parm.
I don't think I ordered the chicken parm, and I don't know that it was keto.
No, that's fair. It wasn't. It wasn't.
And there's a lot of stuff on there that's got zucchini, and I'm just not a zucchini fan, so I apologize if you all love zucchini. I won't be able to give you input on their zucchini.
Yeah, I'm not actually a zucchini fan myself. I get it. Zucchini's tough. But on that note, you can follow JLB at
twitch.tv/JLBTLC25. Remember, though, if you want good food, that link down, that promo, that random code there, Factor SE, is the promo code to get your first box at 60% off. For my fellow Canadians, please wait. We will see for your code as well. And yeah, twitch.tv/JLBTLC25, and other links will be down below in the dupe.
Yeah. But on that note, let's go ahead and close the book on the wrestling booking unit. Thank you all for joining us. Oh, we got a comment real quickly. Oh, it's just JLB with the link. Yep. Boom. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book. Thank you all for listening. We will see you soon.
Can't see me
Deuces.
now,
Bye.